dear students. In this video, I will be explaining you the various questions that are covered under the heading Practical Oriented Questions from the chapter Financial Statements of a Company. To begin with, give the disclosure requirements pertaining to share capital in notes to accounts of balance sheet of a company with imaginary figures. So the question says that we need to prepare note to accounts, that is for share capital, with imaginary figures. So here you have the solution. So what I want you to do is, I want you to write these practical oriented questions in your notebook. That is one after the other. So begin the solution. Note to accounts. I have made 3 important columns, particulars and 2 amount column. We are preparing note to accounts for share capital. So I have written it as share capital. To begin with, here you can see authorized capital or nominal capital, or we can also call it as registered capital. So what exactly is this? It is the amount of share capital which a company is authorized to issue, which is mentioned in the memorandum of association. So now I want you to look into the chapter accounting for share capital. Over there, we have discussed under the various categories of share capital, or you can say it as, for accounting point of view, share capital is known as in different names, in different stages. So over here, we have the authorized capital, which is 10,000 shares of rupees 10 each. So 10,000 into 10 is 1 lakh. After authorized capital is the issued capital. So what is issued capital? It is that part of the authorized capital. It is that part of the authorized capital which is actually issued to the public for subscription. So out of 10,000 shares, they have issued 5,000 shares of rupees 10 each. So 5,000 into 10 is 50,000. That's it. Now we have subscribed capital. Subscribed capital means it is that part of the issued capital which is actually being subscribed by the public. So over here, they have issued 5,000 shares. So they are giving it for public subscription is also 5,000 shares of 10 each. But only rupees 8 is being called up. That means they have received money only for 5,000 shares of rupees 8 each. Amount is 40,000. So since it is an imaginary, we have not received money for 800 shares of rupees 2 each, that is on first and final call. We call this as calls in arrears. Any calls in arrears money has to be reduced. So we will consider it as 1,600. The calls in arrears amount being reduced, the final answer that we are going to get is 38,400. So this is the amount that we will be presenting in the balance sheet of a company. So this is with respect to note to accounts for a share capital. You need to write it as it is, students. It is just an imaginary, and I have given an explanation to the imaginary figures. Okay, to the next practical oriented question, that is, write the pro forma of a balance sheet of a company with main heads only. So students, for this question, you need to prepare the balance sheet as per the Schedule 3 of Companies Act 2013. So let's begin. XYZ Company Limited, balance sheet as of 31st March 2020. So here you have the 5 major heads. So first and foremost, do the format of balance sheet, that is particulars, note number, figures as at the end of current reporting period. So the heads are, to begin with, equity and liabilities, and the second category is assets. Under equity and liabilities, we have 4 major heads: shareholders funds, share application money pending allotment, non-current liabilities, current liabilities. So what do we do at the end? We find the total of equity and liabilities. The second part is assets. Over here we have 2 main heads, one being non-current assets and current assets. At the end, we do the total. So we know the accounting equation, that is asset is equal to equity and liabilities. So the presentation of this as your answer will carry 5 marks. Let's see the next practical oriented question, that is prepare statement of profit and loss of a company in vertical form with imaginary figures of 5 main heads only. So what is that we need to do now? We need to prepare the statement of profit and loss of a company as per Schedule 3 of Companies Act 2013 with the 5 major heads. So let's look into the solution. Statement of profit and loss for the year ending 31st March 2020. We will do the format, particulars, note number, figures at the end of 31st March 2020. The 5 major heads, please concentrate on the particulars column. We have revenue from operations, expenses, profit before tax, tax and profit after taxes. So again, as per the question, I have taken the imaginary figures. So first in particulars column, I have highlighted the 5 heads of a statement of profit and loss. In the amount column, I have taken the imaginary figures. So let's look into the solution here. Revenue from operation, which is the total revenue, is rupees 10 lakhs. Expenses being 6 lakh. In order to find out profit before taxes, that is revenue minus expenses, so 10 lakh minus 6 lakh is rupees 4 lakh. The tax amount on 4 lakh, 30% of tax is 1,20,000. So we have profit after tax, which is nothing but 4 lakh minus 1,20,000, which is rupees 2,80,000. So this is how an imaginary statement of profit and loss is being prepared. Let's look into the next question, that is name the major heads under which the following items will be presented in the balance sheet of a company. So over here, students, they will give you any 5 items. You need to write the answer according to the question that is being given. So first let's understand the question. Here we have 5 items. Each item will carry 1 mark. Loose tools, debenture redemption reserve, computer software, 10% debentures, proposed dividend. Now with respect to the answer, loose tools. So in the balance sheet, what is the major head? It will come under the heading called current assets. So under current assets, we have inventories. So under inventories is what we have the loose tools. So what they are asking in the question, you need to highlight, name the major head. So I have written the major head under which the loose tools is being covered up. The next one being debenture redemption reserve. This is written under the heading shareholders fund. Under shareholders fund, we have reserves and surplus. Over there, we actually mentioned the debenture redemption reserve. Actually, the clue is in the question. Reserves are related to shareholders funds. So as per the question, we need to write only the major head. So be very careful, students, when you are answering these type of questions. Computer software is actually an intangible asset. Intangible assets are written under the major head, non-current assets. 10% debentures are long-term borrowings. Long-term borrowings are written under the major head, non-current liabilities. Proposed dividend is a short-term provision, written under the major head, current liabilities. So this is how, students, you need to write the answer. Loose tools, current assets. So current asset is a major head. So as you answer these type of question, each answer will carry 1 mark. Let's look into the next question, which is similar to the previous one. Over here we have 5 items. We need to write them under the major head. Share forfeited account will come under the major head, shareholders fund. Share forfeited account itself is a part of share capital. Share capital is written under the major head what is called as shareholders fund. Capital redemption reserve. Reserves are reserves and surplus, which is written under the major head again shareholders fund. Work in progress is a part of inventories. Inventories are written under the major head current assets. Goodwill is an intangible asset, and intangible assets are written under the category called fixed assets, and fixed assets are written under non-current assets. Preliminary expenses are related to other non-current assets, and other non-current assets are written again under non-current assets. So for each answer, 1 mark will be allotted. Please make sure to write this information in your notebook as well. Now, for practice purpose, I have given you various items you need to identify and write it the major heads as per the balance sheet of a company. So students, if you look at from the beginning, we have covered 4 important practical oriented questions. In your notebook, I want you to give the heading as practical oriented question, and please work out all the 4 questions with solution at the end. Please make sure to take up this question as well. So that's it with the practical oriented question discussion, students. With this, we complete your financial statement of a company chapter, and with this we also complete your syllabus. Thank you.